16 carries for Derrick Henry were just not enough. He averaged 5.3 yards per carry. And sprinkle in more Justice Hill. Good Lord. Every time he got the ball, it was like, boom, there he goes, first down. There he goes, first down. He ended up with 6 carries for 50 yards, averaged 8.3. But they were doing things that were working. Their offense generally was working. That's what made it so
exactly.
But credit to the Bills' defense, right? The best teams make the right play at the right time. It's not about, hey, good job. Oh, there's a first down. It's do you bend but don't break, and do you capitalize on opportunities when they come around? Because that can change everything.
That's right.
It changes the momentum in the game, and when the entire weight of the season is riding on it, it feels even more significant than it would be on a Sunday night in October. And that gets back to the whole Lamar Jackson, antsy,
the moment.
I'm nervous,
right.
I think too much.
Right.
It didn't happen against the Steelers. They were physically superior to the Steelers in almost every way. I think some of that magnitude of the moment affected the Ravens last night when it mattered most.
I don't disagree. I think that in the frustration of like, wait, we should be winning and we're losing and I got to make it happen here. And, of course, they were close. But, this is something that they're going to have to conquer, and only they're going to be able to conquer it because it's one where, we've heard Lamar Jackson refer to Kansas City as their kryptonite in the past. Now they can't get over Buffalo in the playoffs, can't get where they need to go. And it goes into, again, Lamar's just got to find that right way where he's magical. He's one of the greatest players we've ever seen. But in some of these games, it's playoff football, like you're saying. It's a little harder hitting, a little more detailed and everything. And sometimes you just can't play as free, maybe, as he has. And I specifically talk again against the bad snap, the fumble, all of that, because that was such a huge moment in the football game where you felt like, man, Buffalo came out looking good, but Baltimore weathered the storm there, and it's 7-7, and here they go down to score, and they're going to go up 14-7, and Buffalo's going to be playing from behind. And that's where, hey, we don't see Patrick Mahomes make those mistakes in that moment like that. We haven't seen that. And we're seeing less and less from that from Josh Allen. And he's been pretty good in his career through the playoffs, and this is something that Lamar's going to have to answer until he squashes it and wins one.
That feeling of, like, what's going on, like, this isn't supposed to be this way. You're slipping into quicksand.
You are.
And Peter King and I talked a couple of years ago about, is there even quicksand? Has anyone ever encountered quicksand in the wild? But when we were growing up in the 70s, that's like the one thing that was the worst you could ever, like quicksand.
It was. You're right.
You're going to step in it,
right,
and you're going to die, and you're going to disappear. You're going to be sucked down into the center of the earth. And you've never seen I've never even heard anyone mention, there's quicksand. Like, where the hell is quicksand? Anyway, I think back when you talk about that mentality where you're frustrated and you're confused and it's slipping away. September 24, 1989, Vikings-Steelers at Three Rivers Stadium. Upgraded to front row seats behind the Vikings bench, which were horrible because you couldn't see the field. The way that stadium was built. If you were front row, all you saw was the backs of the guys standing between you and the field. But the Steelers were 0-2. The Vikings were a Super Bowl contender. And I remember... And I thought of this because Keith Millard's name came up yesterday in the green room for some reason.
That was me. I brought him up.
I remember how it came up.
Yeah.
Keith Millard, big 75, comes over, slams his helmet. What the is going on out there? Because the Steelers rose up. And once you slip into that, you're in quicksand. You can't get out of it. You panic. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. How could I have been so wrong? How can I ever turn this around? And it takes a special skill, I think, and a special calm to turn it around when you're in that moment. But that's where the Ravens were last night, and that speaks to the anxiety that Lamar Jackson feels in the postseason. Because when you get yourself in a game like that, where you're like, it's not supposed to be this way, we beat them 35-10, we're favored to win this game, I'm the MVP, not Josh Allen. That was another ingredient, too.
Definitely.
That whole Josh Allen, not the MVP blowback, because maybe they shouldn't announce the All-Pro team right after. I never thought of that before. That All-Pro team is announced the Friday after the regular season ends, and it tells you who the MVP is. If you're smart, most years you can look at the voting and you know who the MVP is. And we've known for a week and a half it's Lamar Jackson. You throw that ingredient on top of it, you get the saltiness from the Bills, and Lamar's got to justify he's the MVP. Just all those things come together and set the stage for what happened last night.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. The scenario you explained, right? It's tenfold when you talk about playoffs and, oh, no, this could be the end of the year and we're done. And then I think on top of that, Lamar is very aware. Lamar's aware of where the narrative is. Lamar's aware of where he wants to be in the greatness and the pantheon of all-time great quarterbacks, and he knows he needs to get to the Super Bowl. And I think because of that, he probably puts a little more extra pressure because he wants it so bad. And I think that's why we're seeing him at the end of these press conferences this last half of the year speak out a little bit, because he wants it so bad. But as we know, sometimes when you want something so bad in that pursuit, right, you're so blinded by it, you just forget little details or things you could do a little bit better. And hopefully he gets there one day. But, yeah, he's going to be crushed. They're going to be crushed because they're going to look at this, of course, and go, we could have won the Super Bowl this year. I know it's not a given that they would have beat the Chiefs or anything like that. I'm not trying to say that, but they're certainly capable. And the way it's shaken out in the NFC, and, yeah, now they're not there, and it's they're going to have to hear about it all year long.
And that's the thing about those postseason narratives. You only get one opportunity every year to change them. And the work to just get to that point is Herculean. You know, and I say this from time to time, and when we're living in the moment, I think it becomes clear, and we forget about it once the season resets, the off season begins, and it's all about anticipating what's next. There is such a dichotomy between regular season and postseason. And when you're in the throes of the postseason, the regular season almost seems irrelevant. But what's relevant to the regular season is getting yourself positioned.
Yep.
For all, to get your spot on the tree. But then you have to flush that and forget about that, and boom, you're back in the postseason. And what happens then? Nothing in the regular season. You're past postseason and the one before that. And each time you're a year older. Each time you have one less chance before your time runs out. The pressure on Lamar Jackson is going to be greater next year. And if they fail to get to the Super Bowl next year, it's going to be greater the next year. And at some point, it's going to be the last year. And we may not know it when it happens. It may just be, oh, they didn't get back to the playoffs at all last year. Getting to the playoffs is hard enough. You just wonder at what point it gets heavier and heavier. You sink deeper and deeper every year. At what point does it just implode? And at what point does the organization need to see that's coming, and what can you do to shake it up? They shook it up this year with Derrick Henry. Chris, that's going to be a question now for the Ravens.
Definitely.
What do you have to do to shake it up for next year?
I agree. I think the magical thing about the matchup last night is both teams were kind of going through that same type of thing. They are. They're both answering or have demons of what you're talking about staring them in the face. And hey, Buffalo, to their credit too, they shook it up this year a little too. Made some trades, signed some guys in free agency, tried to make the team a little bit different. Tried to go the tougher route. We're going to run the football. We're not going to make it all on Josh Allen just dropping back. Look at his hair on fire every play, making plays everywhere. So that's what was great about last night. And you're right, Baltimore is going to have to figure something out. They're so close. They are. It's more about mentality and just culture, I think, more than anything, and learning how to play big game football, which they have yet learned to do. Right? I think sometimes they're so talented and they're so good. They're like, hey, it's the playoffs. Let's just keep this high-flying thing going. And sometimes it's like, no, the playoffs, sometimes you gotta put two fists up and bob and weave and play a little defense. And it might look ugly because you don't want to take a chance and something bad happen here. And we'll take for our chance later where we maybe hit the haymaker. And they haven't learned the nuance of that. And, of course, we know the team in red is the masters of that. And, of course, they're in a conference with Joe Burrow and Josh Allen where that's another tough thing because you just go, damn, it's tough in the AFC with all of that and the clutch players they got. But, yeah, those are the kind of questions Baltimore's going to have to get figured out, Mike.
Well, and Buffalo, all the things we're saying about Baltimore, we may be saying next Monday about Buffalo because now they step into the fray against a team they've been unable to beat in the postseason. 3-1 in the regular season.
Yeah.
Beat them this year. Ended the winning streak that went all the way back to Christmas of 2023 when it looked like, are the Chiefs actually going to run this entire table? They're going to cap off 3 straight Super Bowl wins with an undefeated regular season and then a postseason run to the top. The Bills took them down 4th and 2. The great run by Josh Allen. Josh Allen really is, one game at a time, he's the one guy you want.
Yeah.
He's the guy, all due respect to everyone else, but the things he can do, you get down near the goal line, it's a touchdown. Last night, Jim Nantz and Tony Romo, it's automatic. You get down to the 2.
He's a problem.
You got 2 plays left. You're going to score. He's going to score. And he's going to make the throw. There was a throw early in the game that kind of got things going. It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
After the Ravens scored their touchdown, he just flicks his wrist, and it's like it's never a doubt. It's incredible what he can do. He's got in his playoff history, he's got how many? 7 rushing touchdowns in 12 games. He's 1 shy of the record. Steve Young has 8 in 22 postseason games.
Right.
Josh Allen's played 10 fewer, and he's already one behind the all-time rushing touchdown record for quarterbacks. I mean, he can do it all. And they've had plenty of chances. Are they going to feel like they're sinking deeper into the quicksand against the Chiefs, or is this the moment where they punch through? Like those NBA teams, when the Pistons had to get past the Lakers, when the Bulls had to get past the Pistons. Remember those years?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, they keep beating us. One of these years we're going to turn the page. And maybe the Bills will defy that narrative in Kansas City. It'd be easier if they were playing in Buffalo, but maybe they'll defy it in Kansas City.
No, it feels a lot like, Giants trying to stop the 49ers from a three-peat. That was their rivals. It feels a lot like the 49ers trying to stop the Cowboys three-peat. They're the rival. They've gotten the best of us. Oh, here's our chance to, get back and get some cachet and say, no, you're not just going to always just run us over here. That's what makes it now, I think it's official, is that, Mahomes and Josh Allen is our new era of Manning Brady. I mean, it's too many times now. We're seeing it in the playoffs and these head-to-head matchups and these marquee moments. And we're going to see if Josh Allen can be Peyton Manning this weekend like he was in 2006 and slay the beast of Tom Brady and the Patriots, except Josh Allen's got to do it to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And that's what's going to be a lot of fun to watch on Sunday evening.
Well, Peyton Manning was at home in 2006. Against the New England Patriots. And remember, the Patriots had a big lead early and then
21-3.
Storming back.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.